I'm going to react to Hugh Jackman Wolverine, not done after Deadpool 3 Plus. See if the Cosmic Wonders to stay with this and check this out.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and today we have some more news about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in Deadpool 3. News about Deadpool and Wolverine's relationship in the film, how they're going to act towards each other, but also a little bit of information about if Hugh Jackman is going to stick around as Wolverine even after Deadpool 3 is done.
I did have one idea. Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, right.
I think a lot of fans have been hoping that Wolverine would stick around for at least Secret Wars. Even if Deadpool 3 does not result in Wolverine sticking around in the MCU, there is always the possibility that while all the incursions happen and everything that's going on in Avengers Secret Wars happens, he could be brought back into the MCU and help fight in the final battle against Kang. Or perhaps another mysterious villain that could possibly show up, maybe even Dr. Doom. But for now, we're thinking the big bad is a variant of Kang the Conqueror. But our question today is, will Wolverine be around to fight him? Well, luckily for us, we have some information coming directly from Hugh Jackman himself in a recent interview. So we'll dive into that today, but first, big reminder, we still have a week left of our giveaway, and next year we're going to kick off some new giveaways as well. This week we're picking a winner to win a Marvel Legends item. To enter, all you gotta do is subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. Let us know in this video what you think the relationship will be like between Deadpool and Wolverine. How would you like to see it? So obviously everybody is just super ecstatic that Wolverine is returning. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine specifically is returning. Of course, we're going to be getting a new Wolverine in the future, but not before Hugh Jackman returns, which I think is really, really fantastic and a lot of fans are super excited about. But a big question that a lot of fans have had is this going to be a one and done for Hugh Jackman? Is he simply returning for one movie, Deadpool 3, and then he's done? Or could he possibly stick around in the MCU for a little bit longer? Well, Hugh Jackman recently spoke up about this while he was doing an interview with the Empire Film Podcast. Now, just for a little bit of backstory, before Hugh Jackman, after Logan, and incoming spoiler alert for Logan if you haven't seen it yet, but after Logan, after the death of Wolverine and the death of Professor Xavier, both Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart said that they were done with their characters once and for all. That was their final goodbye, and that no matter what happened, they wouldn't want to undo it. However, new opportunities have arisen thanks to the multiverse. Patrick Stewart did return as Professor Xavier in Multiverse of Madness. However, this was a variant of Professor Xavier, so it was not the same one from Logan. They did not undo his death, so his goodbye to that character was still somewhat the final goodbye. And the same goes for Logan/Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. This will be a different variant of Wolverine. In fact, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have already confirmed that they're not going to touch the death of Logan. They're not going to undo that at all. And this is actually important because this means that whatever variant we are getting of Wolverine, he can stick around because he doesn't have to return to an old timeline to die. If it is the same Wolverine from the same exact timeline, and they didn't want to change anything, ultimately he would have to return to that timeline to eventually go on to die. However, Hugh Jackman has already stated in a recent interview, this Wolverine we're going to see is from a different timeline. Therefore, he does not have to go back. He can stay inside of the MCU. But will he? In the Empire Film Podcast interview, he was asked if he was already thinking about his return to the character for the new movie with Ryan Reynolds as a one-and-done movie, or if it was the start of a new chapter as Wolverine. And here's what he said in the interview. I imagine every movie as a one-and-done. That's how I see it. And I'll be honest, I had a two-picture deal at the beginning, but I still assumed it was a one-and-done. You know, back then, there were no comic book movies, so I just take it one at a time. I'm lucky that way. I don't have to think beyond that, but I think it's the best way to go. Now, the whole two-picture deal in the beginning, I think he is referring to the very first X-Men film when he was cast as Wolverine for the first time. However, there is still the possibility that he could be talking about a second appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I won't speculate too much about this, but I would be surprised if he was simply one and done with this movie. And I'll explain more about why I think that in just a bit, but let's finish this interview first. He went on to offer some more details about the movie, speaking about the relationship between Wolverine and Deadpool that will happen in the movie, and he said, how do I categorize it? 10 being really close, 0 being the reality. We're 0. We're opposites. Hate each other. I'm just talking from my perspective. Logan's frustrated by him, wants to be a million miles away from him, or wants to punch him in the head. Unfortunately, he can't be a million miles away from him in this movie, so I'm probably going to punch him in the head a lot. So there you have it, some pretty decent details about Wolverine and Deadpool, specifically about their relationship in Deadpool 3. Now, Ryan Reynolds has already spilled some of the beans telling us that Deadpool 3 is kind of going to be a road trip between two best friends, talking about Wolverine and Deadpool, but he also said that it was going to be Rashomon style. So to me, things are becoming a little bit more clear based off of what Hugh Jackman said and Ryan Reynolds has said. Because the movie Rashomon is about the death of a samurai, and they go through many different people's perspectives in which they all remember it a little bit differently. They remember what happened differently. So as we can already see here, it looks like Wolverine can't get away from Deadpool for whatever reason, possibly because they are both running from the TVA, or perhaps something Deadpool did that makes it to where Wolverine has to stick with him. But they're both kind of taking a car trip together, probably to other universes, and Wolverine can't stand Deadpool. However, Deadpool, being as sarcastic as he is, probably sees it differently than Wolverine sees it. Deadpool's probably having the time of his life because he's with his good old pal Wolverine, while at the same time, Wolverine kind of hates the whole entire situation because Deadpool is, well, Deadpool. Plus, not to mention, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have already teased that they're going to be fighting each other, and it looks like they're going to be fighting each other quite a bit. And honestly, since Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are indeed best friends in real life, we know that no matter what they're doing, the chemistry is going to be there. Whether they love each other as characters or hate each other as characters, it's all going to be absolutely fantastic. And that leads me to believe that Hugh Jackman won't be one and done. If he did sign a 2-movie contract, I am assuming that the next movie is either going to be Deadpool 4 or Secret Wars. And considering how Deadpool 3 is coming right before Secret Wars, I would assume Wolverine is coming in Secret Wars. Because why wouldn't he? If all of these different variants from these other universes are coming, why wouldn't Wolverine be there as well? Specifically, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It wouldn't really make sense to wait till Deadpool 4 because that's going to come years after Secret Wars. However, even if Hugh Jackman only signed a 1-movie deal, a one-and-done deal, he says that all of his movies are like this, or that's at least how he perceives them. Which means that even if he is just doing a one-and-done deal, he is open to coming back for another movie, and I'm actually going to assume he will be coming back for another movie because I think him and Ryan Reynolds are going to have just a ton of fun filming Deadpool 3 together. And Hugh Jackman has stated that one thing he regrets is not being able to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and interact with these other characters. That is now a reality to him, and Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have already stated that it wasn't Ryan who convinced Hugh to come back. Hugh came back on his own because he wanted to. So since Hugh Jackman came back to playing Wolverine on his own, and since he now has the opportunity to play in that big MCU sandbox, and he's doing a movie with one of his best friends, I'm assuming he's going to have the time of his life, and he'll want to return for another movie to play Wolverine. But that is just my thought process. What do you all think about this as well? Do you think he's going to be one and done, or do you think he'll stick around in the MCU for at least Secret Wars and maybe even more, maybe Deadpool 4? Let us know your thoughts down below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest news. For live updates, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Yeah, please subscribe, like this video, so watching, and see you guys. Bye.